the Royal Daily Tea YouTube channel. Please be advised all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only, based 100% on my own opinion, my own theories, and my own research. All of my information can be found on the public domain and falls under the fair use guidelines. Please feel free to do your own research. Hi everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. So today, guys, is Thursday, August 4th, and it is also Meghan Markle's 41st birthday. So happy birthday to Meghan Markle. Now the question is there going to be another birthday initiative? Is there going to be a 41 by 41? I guess we will have to wait and see. The other question is there going to be a surprise drop of the Archetype podcast for her birthday? I really don't think so, because again, when you work in marketing, you tell people ahead of time when something is happening. But who knows with them, they might think a surprise drop will work. Are you planning to listen to the Archetype podcast if she does a surprise birthday dump? Let me know in the comments. So there was a story that came out that said Prince Harry is willing to give up his UK citizenship and his title to support Meghan's political career. Well, first off, that is a complete joke. I do not believe that for 1 second. There is no way in hell that man is going to give up his place in the line of succession and his UK citizenship to support Meghan's political career. She barely had an acting career, and I laughed out loud when she sat on Oprah and she's like, I gave up my acting career. I gave up everything to marry the man that I love. It's like you gave up your last season on Suits. That's all you had, honey. You didn't even have a Hallmark movie. Nobody was whispering at you. They couldn't have pushed you out the country fast enough. They're like, here, you take her, Harry. Good luck, UK. And now the UK is sent her back, right? They returned to sender. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. You know, return to sender. Anyways, so I laughed out loud when she was like, I gave up everything. Now they're talking about her quote-unquote political career. There is no political career. Nobody in their right mind would ever vote for this woman in any political affiliation or office. And let's be real, Meghan doesn't like to work. Okay, she doesn't like to put in the work. She didn't want to be a working royal, which was a civil servant in a tiara. That's for peasants. She likes to do the Instagram version of everything. Seriously, like she's on the TIG, her lifestyle blog, according to Meghan, how to be a Duchess, you know, pretend to hug people, but from a distance, little meet cutes. She doesn't want to do the work. She wants the free designer clothes, the titles, the tiaras, the free security, the servants, the perks. She doesn't want to hold hands and kiss babies. She doesn't want to have to go to events and stand there for hours and shake hands. She literally wants to do the Instagram version of how to be a Duchess and the Instagram version of how to be an activist, a feminist, a philanthropist, a politician. There's no way she would even make it through the campaign. The enemies would wipe the floor with her scandals and her skeletons. When you become a political figure, your opponent's going to do everything they can to unearth everything negative about you in order to win the election. They're going to air your dirty laundry out on the little, sheets out front. Meghan has an entire laundromat of dirty laundry. We all know that. Tom Bauer has done a lot of digging, but he hasn't done anything compared to what the political people would do to her. She wouldn't make it. Okay? She would not make it. People would hold her accountable for what to do. As a politician of whatever office you're in, there is a certain level of accountability. I mean, I know we laugh about politicians, but it's true. There is some level of accountability there. Meghan is not a 9 to 5er, a Monday through Friday. Let me get into my little office and clock in here, and then I'm gonna have I have an hour lunch. Okay, let me clock out again. No, that's not what Meghan's gonna do. Meghan is not a workhorse. Okay, she's a diva. She wants to do the Instagram version of everything, where has a film crew and a photographer following her around, making sure she has her makeup artist and her hair people with her, and her very expensive wardrobe that was probably gifted to her, as a quote goodwill present. There was a story recently that came out that when Meghan Markle became the Duchess, she had her staff call all the designers to send her freebies for goodwill. And they told her, no, Meghan, royals don't get freebies. They actually have to pay for the wardrobe. So one of her assistants, of course, left the room crying because Meghan was screaming at her for not getting her freebies. But anyway, so Meghan just wants to have that very expensive wardrobe, the camera crew, the hair, the makeup, kind of like the Heart of Invictus. It was literally the Netflix version of Heart of Invictus, where Meghan has full hair and makeup and good angles and lighting, and she stays just enough to get the footage and the film and the photo, and then she's out. So being a politician is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's work. So I do not see Meghan really running for any political office. I see her being her version of an activist, which is being interviewed by Vogue with Gloria Steinem with a photograph of her looking very concerned, and black and white noir, very artsy. That's her version of activism, is being interviewed by Vogue. Like Vogue is really journalistic. Sitting with her husband as he gives a speech to an empty room at the UN. Again, with a camera crew in tow. So Harry and Meghan, there's no way they're ever going to voluntarily give up royal titles or his placement in line of succession. And let's not forget, little Archie and Lilibet are still also in the line of succession. They wanted their son to be born a prince. Remember that? And they didn't like the Dumbarton, Earl of Dumbarton title, and they turned it down. And she says, titles aren't important to me unless it's princess or duchess. If it's not number one, it ain't worth it. There's no way they're going to voluntarily give that up. Not to mention he still has a lease at Frogmore Cottage, so he can just go over there anytime he wants. And remember, the Cambridges guys are now also moving to the Windsor estate at Adelaide Cottage. Apparently, Meghan and Harry were first offered Adelaide Cottage, but they thought it was too small. It was too small for them. So the hilarious thing is the Cambridges now are living in Adelaide Cottage. They still have a lease at Frogmore Cottage. Princess Eugenie and her husband have vacated the property because they're living half the year in Portugal. So if Harry goes back to visit, he's going to be literally 5 minutes away from his brother. And he's not going to miss the opportunity to be right there. He's going to be really close to Granny and really close to William. They're not giving that up. No way. So as far as Meghan's political career, I don't see it happening because one, it costs a lot of money to run a political campaign. Two, people are going to be digging all up in your business. And here's Meghan scrubbing the internet, trying to wash it clean, but people will find it out. Number three, a campaign, having people pay for it, having people vote for you, and then having to do the work. It's not going to work. She makes more money being a professional victim and an activist and the Instagrammable version of a duchess. That's where she's going to make her bread and butter. Also, politicians really don't make a lot of money. That's for peasants. 6 figures, that's what she spends in a weekend on her wardrobe. That's not what she's going to be doing for 365 days a year, punching a time clock. No siree. So I do not believe that story that Harry's willing to give everything up, because we know she can't hold any political office and be a duchess at the same time. So therefore, let's be real, folks, she's not running for office. But again, she will jump on a bandwagon. You best believe, because that is her superhero power. She jumps from bandwagon to bandwagon It's a skill. Now, the other story that's running around is, of course, we're all wondering what's going to be in Prince Harry's memoir. Well, to be honest with you, I kind of have a new theory. Remember when he signed his deal with Penguin Random House, it was for a 4-book deal, not 1, 4. And he did say that there was 1 book that he was going to publish, but it would not be released until after his grandmother had passed away. Now, in my personal opinion, this book that's coming out is supposed to detail his whole truth, according to him, his life as the prince he was born into the man that he has become, where he's encouraged to tell his truth and his interpretation of what it really is like behind closed doors in the royal family. However, I don't believe this is going to be the official slam book, because after the Platinum Jubilee, Harry and Meghan, in my opinion, realized how shunned they really were from the royal family and from his peers and from a lot of the people in the UK when they got booed at the church. That wasn't a good moment for them. That was kind of a reality call. And you could tell by his expression and his face, he was very sad. In my personal opinion, I believe Prince Harry has a lot of royal regrets and wishes to take back that Oprah Winfrey interview. Meghan, on the other hand, has absolutely 0 regrets. She has what the young folk call 0 Fs. She don't care. She didn't have a dog in the fight. She don't care. They're not her family. They can be discarded just like she discards her own. It is nothing to Megsy. But Harry, it's a big deal. And he's kind of screwed the pooch here. Because once you say those things on national TV and in the press, you can't take it back. Unless you physically make a retraction and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. But he hasn't. So once you put that out in the universe, it's out there. And I can tell, in my opinion, that he has regrets. I believe it was all Megsy's idea. So if he comes out with a quote-unquote slam book, that's going to be the final nail in the coffin, not only for his family relationships, but possibly his titles and his place in line to succession. Literally everything he's ever been in his entire life will be gone in a second. I don't see him doing that with the first book. Now, keeping the possibility of having a slam book in the future after Granny passes, I believe is a real thing. It's kind of like a threat, right? It's like his little ace in the hole that he's holding. But I believe this first book is going to be a very fluff piece, kind of a marshmallow fluff piece, where he's going to talk a lot of word salad, give a lot of plugs to Better Up and how they've helped me become the man that I am with my meditation, and a huge dedication to Meghan, because all narcissist spouses can tell you those narcissists need to have their love tanks filled constantly. It is a never-ending job. They need you to validate and praise them constantly. Just like when Meghan did she didn't roll out the red carpet for me. She wasn't friendly enough for me. She didn't do enough for me. They literally expect that every single time they show up. It's not once a month, once a year. It's literally every single time you see them. They need to feel like you have done everything for them, like they are the number one most important person at that moment. Everything is about them. So can you imagine being married to that kind of person? Because being married to a narcissist is a full-time job. Their love tank always needs to be filled. They won't do it for you, but you better do it for them or they're not going to be a happy camper. I have a feeling this book is going to praise Meghan and how she's his mother incarnate and how she saved him to become the man that he is. And he's going to credit her for everything, for teaching me how to wipe my ass and ride a bike and how to get mental health help because of Meghan. Even though his brother's the one who did it, he's going to credit Meghan. The whole book is going to be a marshmallow love fest to Meghan. I do believe that Megsy is going to use the Scooby-Doo sequel to Finding Freedom to be her rebuttal to Tom Bower. Of course, it's not going to be through her. Oh no, she has nothing to do with it, but we all know she does. So she's going to use little Scooby-Doo, who has to pay for that new Chanel bag and that Botox, to rebut Tom Bower. Harry is going to do a lot of gobbledygook woke salad. He is probably going to touch on sensitive topics like, of course, the divorce of his parents, the death of his mother, living in a zoo and being on the Truman Show. And it talks about how the camera clicks give him PTSD, and how the love of Meghan and the incarnate of his mother and Better Up have helped him become the man that he is today. For the whole 2 years that he's lived out of the palace, the royal zoo, he's learned a lot in those 2 years. So I think this book is going to have some things in there, but I don't think it's going to be slamming Charles and Camilla, and definitely not the Queen. He's not going to come out there and be like, you killed my mummy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to happen in this book, and if it does, then he is dumber than a box of rocks. He is going to, I'm serious, because if he does that, I think they're done, okay? But if they play it smart, and he comes out with another little feel-good book, because you got to remember, they got to do the book tours as well. Like Tom Bower is constantly talking about the book on TV. You got to do a book tour. You got to promote it. If he comes out slamming the royal family and calling them racist and pretty much saying, you killed my mummy, I don't know where you're going to go from there. You can't slam the royal family and then say, and just call me the prince. Just call me the Duke of Sussex. You can't walk around with your titles then. You can't say, oh, I still have a good relationship with my granny, and then slam the royal family and still be sixth in line to succession. You're going to have to give it all up and walk away and stop monetizing the titles and slam the family. Because people are calling him a hypocrite now, saying, well, your family's so evil and racist, yet you go to the Platinum Jubilee and you're trying to hang out with your brother and the family and you're getting shunned. So if they're so evil and racist, why did you name your daughter Lilibet? You know what I mean? Why are you still trying to be a part of the royal family and then you're slamming them? It doesn't make any sense. So it's going to be one or the other. And personally, from what I see, they're not doing great. They're not doing great. Their brand is not doing great. 2 years later, like we said, they're a failure to launch. They still don't have anything for Spotify. Netflix, they've canceled Pearl. They have the Heart of Invictus, which, let's be honest, is not a ratings bonanza. They have this little docu-series, a little fly-on-the-wall docu-series, which, to be honest, sounds like a train wreck. If it's directed by Meghan, it's going to be a freaking train wreck. And then they have, what else? Nothing. So if they come out with this book, and granted he's going to make a couple million from it, but I believe it's for the whole 20 million, I believe it's the 4-book deal. So for this first book, if he doesn't hit out the park and that docu-series flops, I don't know where else they're going to get their money, because they're not that interesting. They're not engaging. The guy couldn't even fill the seats at the UN. There was more people sitting inside my local Starbucks than there was at the UN. He's boring. He's depressing. He's not engaging. He doesn't inspire people. So as far as her getting into politics, I would say that's a no. As far as them getting more brand deals, I don't think that's going to happen, because people are looking at Spotify. They're looking at Netflix. They saw what they did on Oprah. They can't even get an invitation to Obama's birthday party. Do you think they're going to be voted in office? Nah. So if they come out and slam the royal family in book 1, I don't know. That's kind of a putting the nail in the final coffin, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a fluff piece. It's going to maybe have a little bit of hints talking about the death of his mom and how he felt. Remember, he was like a 12-year-old boy. What the hell did he even know what was happening in the royal family? Not a ton. Now, I will be honest. I would like to hear real facts about what happened, because let's be honest, I'm sure a lot of stuff happened behind closed doors. A lot of stuff. But as far as Harry knowing all of the deep, dark stuff, a 12-year-old boy probably wouldn't have that information. So from his perspective, yeah, I feel bad for him. He lost his mom. But at the end of the day, does he have the real juice secrets? Nah. But I know Megsy's like, tell your truth, but make sure you put this in there. Tell your truth, but make sure you put this in there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Part of me thinks it's going to be a little salacious because, let's be honest, that publisher needs to sell the hell out of this book. They need to sell this book. And salaciousness sells. I can't see it being a complete slam, because if he does that, then he is really dumb. Dumber than a box of rocks. And I really hope they have savings, because they're going to go broke quick. Because I don't see any huge deals on the horizon. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be a little marshmallow fluff book where he's plugging Meghan and plugging Better up and maybe talks a little bit about his family? Because remember, he did say there is a book he will not publish until the Queen passes. I think he might be saving all that juiciness until then, but who knows? And also, if he puts all of the dirt in there with Megxit and the Jubilee and the fights and this and that, then what the hell is going to be left for Netflix? I'm sure Netflix is not happy with the fact that Scooby-Doo is getting all the goods and then Netflix might be getting the goods. What the hell are they getting in the book? You can't put the same stories in all three things. Someone has to have the exclusive. That's why I think they're going to give the juicy bits to Scooby-Doo, and they'll say, we had nothing to do with it. That was Scooby-Doo. What are you talking about? And this first book is going to be a fluff piece. So what do you guys think? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.